All right. Okay, now we're good. Okay, it's a new day. We're starting off the day. We first go to sign on to Schoology. We get into Schoology and we go to courses. We open our courses up. We look for our homeroom, find out what our activities for the day would be. So there's our homeroom. We click on our homeroom. Okay, now, and then we look at the activity for the day. We see if we have any messages or something. If we don't have any messages, then we're ready to go to our class. So we go back to courses, and each of you is going to have classes in your list. The teacher is going to send you a link so that you could actually have classes in your list. You probably don't have anything in there now except maybe homeroom, but you will have other classes in there. Okay, now when that happens, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your class and you're going to open up the assignment, whatever the assignment happens to be. I'll show you one in a minute. And then when you open it up, you go to the particular folder and then you go to the assignment. In this case, the assignment is a Plato assignment. This is the third thing we want to do, a Plato assignment. Okay? You want to do Plato. So we're going to click on Plato assignment and look at it. Now, I want you to pay particular attention here because this gets a little bit different. Now, here you go. You see the Plato assignment. This is the next thing that we're going to do. And in this case, it's going to be a mathematics assignment. Adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators. Tutorial. Now, the way this other system works is that I can put a link in my home page or in my course and tell me to go there, but it will not go there automatically. This is important. It will not go there automatically. You have to be on the system before it will go there. But what the link will do is it will open up that system for you. So I'm going to go here to the link. Go right here to the link, and here's my link. And when I click on it, it's going to not take me to this page, but it's going to take me to the Plato system. So I click on it, and there it takes me to the Plato system. It takes a little bit of time to come in, but that's where we're going. Here it is. Now remember, we have two tabs now. There's my Schoology tab, and that's my Plato system tab. Now I have to use the user ID and password that I sent you, that I created for you, in order to get into the Plato system. You have to have your user ID and password. So I'm going to use one that I made up for a temporary test student, so you can see how this works. This is just a test student account, so you can see what's happening on the other side. But you each have your own user ID and password. You enter the account login, which is NAU1 for everybody. You have a unique user ID and you have a unique password. And you sign in. Now, once you sign in, you have math teacher, English teacher, you have social studies, and you also have science. And those four classes will be listed right here. This is the test student's name, and those four classes will be listed right underneath here. They're all listed here. So in this case, this test student has a history class that's listed. The test student has two parts to that. The class student has a science class that's listed. There's two parts to that. And the test student also has another history class. An English class is listed. And a math class is listed. That's level 2 math class. And there's another math class. The building blocks class for English. All the classes are listed here. All of them. Every class that you're taking will show up under this, your name. Your name will be here. And then you look at your classes will come up automatically. So you go to the whatever class that you're working on. Now let me go back. We want to make sure you understand this. Now, you start your day, you go to your homeroom, and then let's just suppose your next class was a math class. Okay? So you leave your homeroom, you click on courses, and you go to whatever your math class would be. So you click on your math class, like that. When you click on your math class, you have the same kind of things. You have folders again. Each folder has a number on it, Unit 1 through 9. And September is Unit 1. So you click on the folder for your class. You open it up, and you click on the lesson, just like we're doing today. This lesson has a name. Lesson 1 is not first day lesson, just a name on it. Lesson 2 and so on. And I click on the little arrow at the side of it, and it'll open it up. And then I have the links. Now these links here, these links will take me to all of these links throughout this whole system. All these links will take me to Plato, but I have to sign in first. Okay, so here is my link. I've gone and I've signed in. Now when I sign in, I'm going to see all of my classes. All the classes that I want, I'm going to see them right there. So I'm looking for, this is the Math 1 class. I was looking for that Math Level 1 class. It's the one. So now I'm going to look at, I'm going to select a new activity here. I can look at all the activities. These are all the activities that I'll be doing all year in this class. All the activities all year in this class. So I click on Activities, All Activities. And I'll open it up. And it's going to show me all the activities, everything, all those units. Now you see this page here. I want you to see. This is the Plato side. We'll go back to the student side again, the Schoology side. Now here is it. This is the same thing. This is the one I was telling you about, Math 1. And then I have Unit 1, Unit 2, right on down to Unit 8. This is Schoology side. Now on Plato, I have the same thing. Unit 1, Unit 2, all the way down. Unit 1, Unit 2, all the way down to Unit 8, Unit 9. And these names, working with fractions, they're the same ones that we have on the Schoology side. I mismatched this. What is this? Level 1 I'm doing? Which one to open over here? I must open a different one over this side. Huh. I gotta fix that. That's a problem. Here it is. Ratio and proportions. Ratio and proportions. This is level 2. That shouldn't be over there. Anyway. Okay. The names match. They should match. I have to fix that up so that I've got a, there we are, ratio and proportion relationships. There it is. I have the first one included in here. That's one I have them included in here, so it doesn't show up. Let me see if I can make it show up. See if I can make it show up for you. Adding and subtracting fractions. Here they are. Here it is. I've just included it in the first lesson in this case. So let me close that out so you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to go back again so you can see. This is my Schoology side. I'm looking at my Schoology side. This is Unit 1. And these are all the lessons in Unit 1. This is my whole Math Level 1 class, course, and all these units here. That first one is right inside here. It's introduction. We do some other things first. Now I go to the other side, the Plato side. And there's my same math class. Same math class. And then I look here and I'm looking at all of the same lessons. This first lesson here, working with fractions, that's included in the first lesson on the other side. But lesson 2, ratio and proportional relationships, goes back over here and look on the other side. You see Unit 2 is ratio and proportional relationships. Exactly the same thing. And they're set up so that they will match. Working with decimals. Unit 3, working with decimals. This is Plato. Go back on the other side and we see Unit 3 is working with decimals. Unit 4 is the number system. This is Schoology side. I go on Plato's side. And on Plato's side, I see it's have the same thing. The number system working with 4. And it matches all the way down to 9. So now, when the teacher makes you an assignment, in your assignment on the Schoology side, then you just sign on to Schoology, go to your class, and pick the appropriate unit, and then pick the assignment, and you'll be in the right place every time. Remember, when you pick the assignment, when you pick the assignment, it's going to take you to the Plato sign-in window where you have to sign in. Okay. Now that we've done that, I want to show you what a lesson looks like in Plato. So I'm going to open this up. And this is where we'll be doing a lot of our work, most of our work this school year. And the first assignment is adding and subtracting of fractions with like denominators. This is our first assignment. Is the second one, the third one, all the way down, all the way through the whole school year, all the way up to Unit 9 and all the assignments in this. So this is the first one. This is from Unit 1, Lesson 1, Lesson 2, and so on. Okay, so now we're going to go back. I want you to understand how all this fits together. So I'm going to go back again. Question?
When I press on the adding and subtraction fractions, it says forbidden.
When you did what now?
This is Ayan.
Okay, Ayan. What is the question?
Whenever I press on view, adding and subtracting fractions like denominators.
Oh, it didn't work. Okay. Okay. Well, just give me a chance to go back and explain it again, okay? All right. Now, let's go back. We're going to go back to the one we're talking about today. Today we're looking at courses that we're looking at is homeroom. And the first exercise in the homeroom is first day of school. We open that up. And then we're going to go down to Plato assignment. And then when you get the Plato assignment, when you click here, adding and subtraction fractions, it should take you to the Plato sign on screen. Is that what happened, Ayan?
No, it still says forbidden access. Forbidden access is denied.
What should you say?
Forbidden access is denied.
Access is denied. Okay.
I have a window tab open for Plato assignment.
But you can't get into
For
it.
Plato.
Okay, but you can't. Did you sign on to Plato? You couldn't do that either.
Yes.
Yes, you did sign.
I did, but now it's. Yes, sir. I did sign.
Okay, you did sign up. Okay, so what's happening there is that your name is not in this class list on Plato, so I have to add it. That's what that is. If you can sign into Plato, that's fine. I just have to add your name to this particular class. Okay, every student has to be added to the class. And it's giving you that message because your name is not added to the class. And I'll do that a little later. Okay?
Just watch the screen.
So just watch what we're doing on the screen right now. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll add your name a little later. So now I'm going to go back here to adding, subtracting, fractions with like denominators. Now, these are the units that we'll be working with. So I'm going to open the first one up so you can see exactly what it's going to look like throughout the school year on Plato. So I'll open the first one up. And then I have options. The first one, I can look at a tutorial. A tutorial explains the lesson. And then I have adding and subtracting practice. Fractions with like denominators, this is practice. And then I have a mastery test. So I have access to all three of these things. I can do the tutorial, and then I'll do the practice, and then I'll do the mastery. See, so I'm going to show you this tutorial, but we'll look at it again tomorrow. I just want you to understand how things work today. I'm going to show you the tutorial. So I click on the tutorial, and another window should open up. Now, in order for this window to work, you have to have your pop-up blockers off. So you have to ask your mom and dad to turn off the pop-up blockers, because the pop-up blockers will keep this thing from working. You have to have the pop-up blockers off. So pop-up blockers are something that's unique to each browser and has to be turned off. But I'm showing you that this is the tutorial. We're just going to watch some of this so you can see how this whole system works. Right?
It's Ahmad here. I like to adjust the recipes I find in cookbooks. Sometimes the food turns out great, and sometimes it's a total disaster. Either way, I often have to add and subtract fractions to find the new amount. In this activity, you will study how to add and subtract fractions with like denominators.
Could everyone hear that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
You heard? Yes.
Okay, now,
Yes.
now look at this window. You have some things here. This is all a part of this system. You have some things on this window that you can work with. There's some tools here. You click on the tools button, and you'll see, when it comes back, you'll see the tools that you can work with using this. There you go. You have a dictionary you can look at if you're looking up words. Excuse me. There's a calculator that you can use. Excuse me. There's a glossary of terms. There's a journal. There's math tools. All these things are available when you're doing this tutorial. You can actually click on any of these things. And I want you to do this. I want you to go in there and play around with it and see all the things that you can do. There's also an options window. The options give you a chance to start over. Okay, you can start the process over, or a transcript. The video will be running, and the transcripts, it'll give you a written word, a written narrative of what's going on the screen. You'll be able to, it gives you a written word. So I want you to be able to play with these things tonight and tomorrow. Actually get on and play with it. Down in the lower left-hand corner, you see the cross, the exit. Click on that, and that'll exit it. And then on the right-hand side, you see another exit button at the top. Now, at the bottom right, you see the arrows, forward and backward arrows, forward and backward arrows. This is taking you through this particular tutorial. So I'll click the forward arrow and go to the next frame.
These topics are helpful for understanding this activity. Click each topic for a quick review.
Now, this particular module is giving you review topics, giving you review information to help you learn about adding and subtracting fractions. This is all review. Addition basic facts. So let's, okay, adding 3 through.
Akil's, she can get in it, but the video doesn't show. It says flash not available.
Okay, that is the flash has to be. What is she working on? What kind of device is she working on?
She has the Chrome, but also when she does it from Plato, it says forbidden access. But when she logs into Plato, when she gets out of school, I go to Plato, she can see it. And see the video, still saying the video, the flash is unavailable.
Okay, those are some of the kind of questions that we'll pass to Brother Tariq. That's why I told you he's a technology person. But I'm gonna put his email up on the screen when we finish, and then he works during the daytime, so we'll have to get with him at night, and he'll be able to answer all those technology questions. A couple of things that you have to do. Number one is that you must have the pop-up blocker off. That's one thing. Number two, on a browser, on a computer browser, you have to have Flash Player. That's an add-on. You have to install that. That has to be on the system in order to work. This is pretty, I guess, advanced. I don't know if it's advanced.
Cutting edge.
Yeah, it's very, very technical stuff. So you have to have all of everything on your computer in order to work, for it to work. And media player is one of them. So you have to add the media player. If you have somebody around that's computer savvy, you have to add those add-ins. It has to be a media player add-in. You have to have pop-up blocker off. Our brother Tariq, is an expert on these things, and I'm going to give you his email address before we finish today. But I'm going to so just watch for now, okay?
You see?
So now I'm clicking on this one.
Memorize these addition facts
These are
so you
basic
can
facts.
work comfortably with more complicated math problems. Click a button for information on each subject.
All right. So now it's telling me that, taking me through all of these basic additional things. All this is available to you in all of these tutorials.
These topics are helpful for understanding this activity. Click each topic for a quick review.
Okay, now I can go ahead on.
These topics are helpful for understanding this activity. Click each topic for a quick review. Click to hear how fractions are used in everyday life.
All right. So
Lynn trains for the swim season by sprinting for fractions of a mile. She adds up the fractions to determine the total distance she sprinted.
sprinting means to run. Run fast. Sprinting means to run fast. These are just examples, real-world examples where fractions are used.
Ron uses 1/4 of a tank of gas each week. This morning, he looks at the fuel gauge and sees he has 3/4 of a tank of gas. He uses what he knows about subtracting fractions to determine how much he'll have left at the end of the week.
All right. So this is what you would be doing at home at night. You'd be going
You may recall
through.
that a fraction represents a relationship between a part and a whole. For example, we can think of this garden as a whole. It's divided into 5 equal-sized parts called fifths. 3/5 of this garden is planted with corn. The denominator is the number on the bottom of the fraction. It shows how many equal-sized parts the whole is divided into, 5. The numerator is the number on top. It describes the number of parts we're interested in, 3.
Now, I want you to notice these little green arrows here. When it's playing, it goes out. And when it stops playing, then you can press the arrow to move forward. So I'll press it again. Now see it's
It
going
looks
out.
like 1/5 of the garden is planted with beans. Notice that the denominators are the same. Fractions with the same denominator are called like fractions.
And see the green light comes on. That's how you know it's time that you can go on.
We can also say that 4/5 of this garden has been planted with corn and beans. After we harvest the beans, we have 3/5 of the garden left to harvest. As we make these changes to the garden, we're really adding and subtracting like fractions. Here are 2 cans of paint. Each can is divided into 4 equal-sized parts. The denominators tell us how many equal-sized parts the cans are divided into, 4. The numerators tell us how many parts are filled with paint. Here, 3/4 of the can contains paint, and here, 1/4 of the can contains paint. We call these fractions like fractions because they have the same denominator. These cans of paint are divided into different amounts, fourths and thirds. When 2 fractions have different denominators, the whole objects they represent are divided into different numbers of parts. Fractions with different denominators are called unlike fractions. Here we see 1/8 of a can of paint and 1/3 of a can of paint. The numerators of the fractions are the same, but the denominators are different. We call them unlike fractions because the denominators are different. You've just seen several examples of like and unlike fractions. Now take a look at these pairs of fractions. Decide whether the fractions in each pair are like or unlike fractions. Drag the correct label to the empty box beneath each pair of fractions.
Now this is a kind of a practice activity to make sure you understand. Like fractions, unlike fractions. This is a 12th and this is a 12th. These are like fractions. So you divide like, draw like fractions down there. Okay, and then it says yes. And it gives you the correct answer. These fractions have the same denominators. Now try another one. Now this one is a 6 and a 7. They're unlike. So you go up here and pull unlike down. You do all these things right on line. It says, yes, you're correct. And you continue to do this. You finish, do a like one over here, like so. You would do all, this is how you do your homework. This is how you would practice. And you practice until you really get good at it. This is unlike. This is unlike. And this is like. Okay, and then you have the green arrow again.
Here's a problem that involves adding fractions. Take a minute to read it.
Now here again, you have options to on these problems. If you click on it, let's see if I can get it to work now. If you click on the text, let me see. See this little, looks like a speaker. Click on that speaker.
Hal's New Year's resolution is to
read it out
walk
loud to you.
more and drive less. He decides to record how much he walks every day. From his apartment, Hal walked 3/10 of a mile to the post office. Then he walked 4/10 of a mile to the library. What is the total distance Hal walked from his apartment to the library?
Okay, the instructions said read it, but you can read it or you can listen to it. Press the little speaker.
Hal's New Year's resolution is to walk more and drive less. He decides to record how much he walks every day. From his apartment, Hal walked 3/10 of a mile to the post office. Then he walked 4/10 of a mile to the library. What is the total distance Hal walked from his apartment to the library?
So you're going to add 3/10 plus 4/10. That's what this is about. Okay? And you click the little arrow and you move forward.
Hal first walked 3/10 of a mile, and then he walked 4/10 of a mile. If we add these fractions, we'll find the total distance Hal walked from his home to the library.
So 3/10 plus 4/10 gives you 7/10.
We can use fraction bars to find the total distance Hal walked. Let's start with 3/10, the distance from Hal's home to the post office. Drag the 1/10 bars from the bottom of the screen to the empty box to show 3/10.
1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do 4.
Great. This model shows 3/10.
Now we hit the plus little green arrow again.
Here we see the distance to the post office, 3/10 of a mile. Hal also walked 4/10 of a mile from the post office to the library.
Here it is there. And we have the green arrow again, so we continue on.
How many tenths of a mile did Hal walk from his apartment to the library?
So now we write the answer here. So 3 plus 4 is going to give us 7. So we put in here 7. And we click done.
Yes, Hal walked a total of 7/10 of a mile.
And then we just go head on.
Fraction bars help you see fractional parts you've added or subtracted, but you can find the answer faster if you do the math. Next, I'll show you one way to add or subtract fractions with like denominators. The first step is to keep the same denominator in the sum or difference. For example, if we're adding 3/10 and 4/10, the sum should have 10 in the denominator. Here's why. When we add fractions, we join parts of a whole. Here, all parts of the whole are the same size. Tenths. We're joining 3/10 and 4/10, so the sum is made up of tenths too.
Here you go, the green arrow to continue.
With the denominator in place, the next step is to add or subtract the numerators. Go ahead and try it. Add the numerators.
And we know that that's 7, so we do that. And we click done.
You got it.
And we continue on. And this is
The
how we
final
do all
answer
of our
is 7
assignments.
tenths. Remember, when you add fractions with like denominators, keep the same denominator and add the numerators. Now take some time to read another problem.
Okay, I'm going to exit this now. I think you guys got the idea. So let me see. All right, any questions? You understand what we just did? You can open your mic.
Yes.
All right, now this whole system, this whole Plato system is designed just like that to help you go step by step by step and learn the things that you weren't really sure of, but now you'll be able to get them and you'll become experts at them. So pretty soon you guys are going to be experts at a lot of different things. Now, I was going to give you an assignment out of this, but I see some of you don't have the access, so I've got to get the access thing straightened out. So we will not make an assignment on this tonight. We will take, it's 12 o'clock now, so we will take questions, if there are any questions. Any questions?
Mother, I love your hair.
Hard time with the background.
How did you do it? How?
Okay, let's see.
You
All right.
How did you do it?
Any questions at all? All right, let me look at our class schedule here. Please mute your mic. Somebody's got a hum going on in the background. All right, thank you. Here it is. Okay. Yes. Ian, you want to mute your mic, please? Thank you. Okay, I'm looking at the schedule now here to see what the rest of the next activity on our schedule is, and so we can I can share with you what we're going to do next. Today is Wednesday. So Wednesday, this evening, we're supposed to have a social studies class, but that class will not begin tonight. We won't have that. We won't start that class tonight. The earliest that class will be on Monday. So when we sign off today is Wednesday? Yeah, when we sign off today, that'll end our class for the day. Mali classes won't begin until the beginning of probably the beginning of October. So inshallah, when we finish our class today, when I finish with you now, then we'll come in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock and we'll start our new class tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Are there any questions at all before we close out?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So
this is our timeline. We go.
no, every day is different. You see the schedule is on the screen now. Every day is different. Today we're just going to start. Question? Go ahead.
Run away. We're done for the day.
Bro, how many? Wait, we got here 9.
Okay, would everybody mute their mic so I can hear Sister Carol? Sister Carol, what was your question?
Yes, so they will have morning and evening classes.
Yes, you can see the screen now. You see the class, the schedule here on your screen. That's our daily schedule. And there's some spaces in here where there are no classes, and that would be the time where they could actually be doing their work. And we do have 2 classes in the evening. One's at 3:30, that's physical science, and one is at 6 o'clock, that's the evening class. 6 o'clock evening class. Our intention,
Okay, because I thought,
our intention is that we'll record these classes, so if someone can't make the evening class, they can play it the next day during one of these open slots. But what I was saying is we won't have a class tonight. It'll be Monday before we begin this class.
okay, because because the kid Elijah, they box in the evening time.
Okay, well
They're
then,
boxing training.
okay, then they have to play the recording the next day and do the assignments.
Okay, all right. Okay, I got you.
Okay.
No, just make sure you know who all got to get the. That's just for you. It's okay. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna close out. Thank you very much. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So inshallah we see you tomorrow morning at 9.
And the people who you have to help, you know that you send an email to them.
Yeah.
Different ones with different problems.
Yeah. All of them are school related and access related.
Well, I thought somebody couldn't get into Plato.
That's what I mean. Critique, Mom.
Definitely need another tomorrow.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Those people who couldn't get in and bumbling around, whatever, they missed some of that transition piece. So I'll be right back. I'm going up to the mailbox. Check for something for Ike.
Okay.